Hi, we're back again at Reach 2016, interviewing our CSRM family, and I am privileged to have Debbie Brown with us, and Debbie has been on our board for a number of years, and she's working as a fitness ministry director at Houston First Baptist, right?
That's correct.
All right. And she also has another distinction we'll talk about a little bit later, but I got to know Debbie through, obviously, this type of ministry, and we have a common friend in Cindy Brimkamp that they got to know. And Cindy, I hired Cindy to do the fitness and aerobics ministries at the church I served as a sports pastor. And so it's fun to make that other connection. But Debbie, tell us how you got involved in CSRM.
Okay, well, I've been in fitness ministry since 1996, and I didn't get to go to a lot of conferences. I had went to Rec Lab one time, and so about 6.5 years ago, we had a change in leadership, and Dave Bundrick came on board as our Minister of Fitness and Recreation.
Dave has been on our board.
Yes.
And he said, I've done my service, you go do it, right?
Yes.
He was actually president of the board.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And he thought very highly of CSRM and you, of course, and the whole team there. And so he brought us to one of the summits. And that was the first time that I got to go to other than Rec Lab. I'd went there once. But I had never got to go to a conference that really was about Jesus, about ministry and about equipping the local church.
Where was that at? Which one?
Was that Chicago?
Okay.
I'm thinking. I don't know. It's been a long time since then. I can't remember all this stuff. But anyway, but it was a great experience for me. I had never been, with the team and got to go somewhere where, because typically your sports and rec guys do sports and rec things, and then the fitness world is completely different.
Right.
And and there's just not a whole lot out there that equips fitness ministry. And so for me, it was just an amazing experience to be able to go with the team together and worship together and then go to the workshops and all that it just really blessed me. And it was like God just opened my eyes to a whole different world, because it's like with all of us in our ministries, we get really, really just in the day-to-day activities, there's just always something to do, something to plan for, people to minister to, members that need things, your staff needs things, and so you just get bogged down by all of that. So it's good to be able to go to conferences and get inspired and get equipped and just really to be able to just take a step back and say, okay, God, what are you saying for this time and this season, and how can we, be a better team, and how can we be better as individuals and just to serve the Lord, better. And so it was just a blessing for me to be able to do that. And
you just kept coming back.
And I just kept coming back. I know.
And it was then people started to say, this gal knows what she's doing, and you really started to move into some leadership positions.
Yeah.
Tell us about the church and what you do there.
I am the fitness director at Houston's First Baptist Church, and I basically didn't grow up a Christian. I met Jesus when I was 30 years old at First Baptist Church, and I just like to work out. So I never really knew what I wanted to do with my life. I just was kind of aimless and purposeless, but, I didn't know that I was created for a very specific purpose, And so when I got saved and I started working out, it was like I started feeling this tug. And then there was an opening position, and I just knew that the Lord was calling me to do that. I had no idea what He would do with it. I didn't think I'd be good at it at all. And so all these years later, oh my goodness, it was in 1996 that I got the fitness director position, and I've been there ever since. And the ministry just keeps growing and growing as we step out in obedience and do what God tells us to do. And but what I love about the Reach Gathering is just even with Tim Conrad today when he talked about dreaming, because it's really easy not to dream.
What a powerful message! If you weren't here, you missed it. Maybe they taped it. We hope they taped it.
I know it would be good for people to listen to that, because it was just, for me, it's like I have always dreamed that fitness could go bigger, and so it's easy to stay in your own little spot. And ministry's growing, it's going great. It's like, why does it need to grow bigger? We're being effective and all that, but I know that God wants us to dream bigger, because, we can only impact so many people right there. But as we network together and really encourage other people, to take it to the next level and to look beyond their borders, then God can do a bigger thing. And so what I love about CSRM and what I love about Reach is that it opens my eyes to endless possibilities within not only the sphere of where God gives me influence, but in the state, and then in the United States, and then into the world, And so, I think fitness can be a component of every mission trip in churches. I think it can grow a lot bigger than it is. And so that impacted me today about the dreaming. So it was like, okay, I need to get back to some of these dreams that God has given me.
I told Tim the best was at the last.
Yeah.
And those that left a little early, they missed the best of it.
They missed it.
Now, Debbie, you talk about that influence going out throughout all the world. Mm-hmm. We know right now that fitness is trending everywhere.
Yes.
And that I remember meeting with your good friend Brad Bloom.
Oh, yes.
About 20 years ago. And he wanted to do this. And I said, Brad, the world has not caught up to this yet.
Yeah.
I said, you're way ahead.
Yeah.
So there'll be a day.
Yeah.
And about 3 or 4 years ago, he and I got back in touch and said, Brad, I think it's here.
Yeah.
I think the church is really ready to go on this.
Yeah.
Holistic health, fitness. It's no longer just aerobics. It's
That's right.
all that's beyond that.
Yes.
And you have now been moved into, by God, a leadership position really across our country. Tell us about what you did, was it last November? And what's
Yes.
coming up again, I think is in November. Tell us about that.
It is. And, only God can do this sort of thing. I've always had a real fear of getting up in front of people. I never really thought that I could do any of this that God calls me to do. And because of my past, I just had a lot of things that just kind of really weighed around me and drug me down. But, Jesus is in the healing business, and he has just brought healing and more healing, and then equipping me to be what he's called me to be. And so the first conference that I actually got to go to, other than Rec Lab and CSRM Summit and then Reach, was athletic business. And so when Dave Bundrick came on board, he was big into leadership. He knew how important that was to pour into your staff.
That's right.
And so so I got to go to athletic business, and I went by myself. I was shaking in my shoes getting off the plane.
Now, this is a conference.
It was a conference. I just went to learn. And so it was really, really cool. And I guess that was maybe 5 years ago. And so really this is a testimony to what God can do, because only God could do something like this. But went to that conference, a little shaky, all by myself, getting off the plane, the whole deal. And it was awesome. But the neat thing is that I always had an insecurity about that I wasn't equipped to lead. And what the Lord showed me is that up until that time, he really had been pouring his Holy Spirit in me, and he was giving me what I needed to lead. He had taken me to the point in the ministry that he wanted to, but he wanted to do more. And so that was really, really good. And so left there, and then last year, the Lord opened up a door through Brad Bloom with a Faith and Fitness magazine, that athletic business, they embraced the idea of a fitness ministry track. And to our knowledge, we didn't know that they had done anything ministry. And so that was huge. And then all of a sudden, Brad's calling up, asking me if I would be one of his presenters at that. And so the cool thing about that as well is that, because I've been a part of the summit and then Reach, I got to speak there. It gave me some experience, and it gave me a little bit of confidence, and to just kind of figure it out. What do people need to know? How can we help people in fitness ministry so that they can take it to the next level? So that was a really unique experience, and I really enjoyed that. And only God could do that. That 5 years previously, I had just went for the first time, and then that 5 years later got to present. That was crazy.
But they figured out that the church market is growing.
Yes.
And so they added a day for local church
That's
fitness.
Right. That's right.
And that's what you spoke at.
That's right. It's called Redefined.
Redefined.
Yeah.
And now tell us about next Redefined.
It's coming in November.
Okay.
And,
of 2016.
Yes. And it's the week before Thanksgiving.
All
so
right.
whatever date that is.
And so whoever's watching this, whoever picks this up, let's get them there. And you're going to be presenting.
I am.
Brad is going to be presenting.
Yes. And
CSRM
and
is a co-sponsor of that.
Yeah.
And you're pioneering this, Debbie.
It's exciting.
It's so much fun to see how God is using folks like yourself in this. And like you said, who would have dreamt it, a few years ago?
I never thought.
But you're doing it, and that's what I appreciate about it. No one would ever know that you'd be frightened to get up in front of people and talk.
Wow.
And you do it really well.
Thank you.
And no matter, in whatever setting I've ever seen you, people just fall in love with you because your heart is there. Jesus just comes out, and you're
Thank
so
God.
passionate
Yeah.
about things.
Yeah.
And so I just really appreciate that about you. And you have just stepped into a brand new role with CSRM, and we have had many global network partners that have always been volunteers for us.
Yes.
We didn't know what to call those in the United States because they weren't global network partners.
Yeah.
And so we've said associate staff, and that's just a new designation as of this year. And you and now Scott Furlow are the first two people with your specialty and your calling
Yes.
for the fitness ministry. And so I just want to thank you on behalf of the CSRM family. And Debbie, I want to encourage you with something. There are people that are out there someplace that they'll never know who you are. But because you've trained somebody, because you've influenced somebody,
Yeah.
they've come to Jesus and get involved in church
Yeah.
because of what you've done.
Isn't that cool?
Because you've said yes, Jesus, and you followed.
Yeah, it's exciting. I'm excited about it. I love fitness ministry. It really is, it completely changed my life. It gave me purpose, and it helped me to discover who God created me to be. And so it's something that I can do as a way of pouring into others, because I know that Jesus wants people to be in good health and prosper.
That's right.
You know, because if we're not healthy and strong, and then people can't serve the Lord in their capacity of
That's
whatever
right.
God has called them to do.
That's right.
And so here at Reach, it was really exciting to be able to connect with some of the other instructors of different facilities around the country. And for me, a great honor. One of the girls was like, I just loved your Pilates routine. Can we do it again? And I just want to learn a few new exercises. And I love your music. Can you share that with me? You know, and I said, absolutely, let's do it. I said, well, if you want, let's get that video camera out and we'll just tape it. That way you'll have something you can look at. And she was like, you don't mind doing that? I said, heck no, I would be honored to do that. And so that was really blessed me that God would allow me that opportunity to do that, because it's hard work. Ministry is very, very hard work, and we're busy, and we need someone to help us to be able to do it. So that's what I hope to be able to bring to CSRM, is that we can somehow figure out how we can help others do what they do better.
There you go.
And I'll learn something from them, you know, so it'll be something that we can really partner together. And even just sharing music and exercises or whatever it is, we're learning.
All right.
We're going to figure it out.
Last question. Tell the person who's watching that's doing fitness or thinking about it in a church, why should they get involved in CSRM? Why should they come to Reach?
Well, I think you should be involved in CSRM, and you should come to Reach, because it's just a time that God will allow you to set aside time to come and to be with Him and to be around like-minded individuals who really love Jesus, that are pure in heart, and they want to grow with Him, and they want to grow in their craft, and they want to impact souls. You know, because there is not one single minute that you do ministry that for Jesus that is ever wasted effort. And so I share that with when we taught our class, is that, you know, there's not one single minute that's wasted time when you give it to the Lord, and you just do to the best of your ability. So come and be equipped and just network and meet other people so that we can stay in touch and be encouraged and be blessed. And you know, someday we're all going to get to heaven and we won't have anything to do up there except for worship and do all the amazing things we're going to do. You know, the word says that no eye has seen and no ear has heard. So we don't know. We know it's not going to be boring. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I love this Whitley Phipps. Is that his name? He's a black man, African-American singer. Oh, goodness, I hope I'm getting his name right. That's just terrible. But he came to our church and he sang. And he said, you know, I just hope someday that when Jesus comes down the hallway and he knocks on my mansion door, that he says, Whitley, will you come out and sing for me? And so for me, I hope Jesus knocks on the door and says, hey, Debbie, will you come and let's have a Pilates class? You know, for me, that would be exciting.
Jesus doing Pilates. There's an image for you, but I love it. And it expresses who you are very, very well.
Yeah.
And so go to csrm.org, go to reachgathering.org and find out the information. Debbie, thanks for being with us.
Yeah. Thank you
and
for
we
letting
hope
me
to see
be a part.
all of you at Reach 2017 in Dallas, Texas.
All right.
Just down the road from you.
I know, that's exciting.
Thanks.
I look forward to it.